Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate, in fields of valor we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the dream. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday morning to you. To all our squatchers that are out in the woods this bright morning, cold morning, possibly wet and snowy morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you had a successful Squatch watch. If not, just hang out with us for a while, grab a cup of coffee, and sit around your little fire, and we're going to talk about Batsquatch today. And several other cryptids, by the way, not just Batsquatch. So, that being said, I'm going to get into the disclaimers and got one or two announcements to make. And other than that, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the meal today. Okay, guys? So hang tight. Copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances of fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and entertainment value. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances for fair use. All right. Also, I got to say this one too now because, ironically, since I started saying this stuff repetitively over certain periods of time, that YouTube has kind of backed off a little bit. As always, I claim fair use of all content under the Copyright Act of 1976. Furthermore, I wish to acknowledge that not all the opinions or theories mentioned during the podcast are not necessarily the opinions or views of Nighthawk High Strange's podcast channel and or aka William Nighthawk, me. We at Nighthawk High Strange's YouTube channel and Facebook channels merely bring the open format to discuss the possibilities of topics happening in the past, present, and future. Please join the Nighthawk High Strange's YouTube family by subscribing and hit that like button. And join the chat family. Be respectful and put all questions in capital letters. Thank you. I know it's getting old having to read all that. How many of you actually know the descriptive difference between Batsquatch Or how many of you have even actually heard of Batsquatch? Let's start off with that question. Okay. Um, because it's not a very discussed cryptid creature. It's kind of like a conglomerate of two cryptid creatures, as far as I'm concerned. And I think Eric knows what I'm going with this. I think it's a combination of Sasquatch and Mothman. I really do. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that it is Mothman, but hey, you never know, man. The way weird things are happening and the way weirdness is connected, it could possibly be, you know. In 1980s, in the early 1980s, there was a brothers. They were in their 20s. One was like 21, 22, and the other one was like 25 or 26. And I believe it was 1984 or 83. They were getting ready to drive to their third shift job in Texas. And they were driving a 70, I think it was a 72 Cuda, which is like my favorite automobile in that time. And they were driving down the back road and they noticed this object standing in the center of the road with red glowing eyes. And there we go with the red glowing eyes again. Okay. So, there's a connection there. I'm telling you. Okay. Anyways, they stopped their vehicle and dead in the road about maybe 100 feet or so in front of this creature. They described it as looking like a giant gorilla with bat wings. Okay. And they said that after a few moments, the description they gave is this picture right here. Okay. And pretty pretty much looks like the Mothman to me in this photograph. Okay, I'm just saying, just putting it out there, especially with the red glowing eyes. Okay. So that being said, compare that to this, and you pretty much have a description that almost matches. Okay. So, getting past that, they see this creature standing in the road in front of them. They don't know what to do. They don't want to drive towards it and provoke it in any way because they don't know how it's going to react. All of a sudden, this thing takes flight, okay, and dive bombs their car, knocking the passenger side mirror off with its wings. Okay. That's how close it was. So basically, the downdraft of the wings coming down hit the passenger side mirror and knocked it completely off the vehicle. Anybody knows anything about classic vehicles knows that those vehicles are built to last. Okay. Hell, there's some of them out there that can still take a nuclear blast. Okay. Not built like today's vehicles. So that being said, that's a pretty prominent thing to say when you're dealing with, that year of vehicles, considering that's not made out of plastic and duct tape. So anyways, they said that it took off and it flew straight up into the sky after it got past their vehicle, and they didn't see it again. Okay. Ironically, in that same location, not more than about 25 miles away, 2 years later, there was a flying humanoid sighting. Okay. And it was described as bat-like. Okay. And this is about the closest I've found to a description. Okay. And it's been seen in other areas of the country too, by the way. I even believe that it has been seen and associated with the Point Pleasant incident, to tell you the truth, in 1966, I believe it was, in 67. And the reason I say that is because Somebody had captured something on video at one point in time, and I can't remember who it was, but they got a video of Mothman walking across a bridge in West Virginia, an abandoned bridge. Okay. And it looked literally like Sasquatch with bat wings. Okay. Big and bulky and just very muscular. Okay. And black in color. Okay. Completely black from head to toe and wings. So, are we dealing with a mutated species? Are we dealing with something that is just completely undiscovered and unreported because nobody will believe that something along this lines exists in today's world? I mean, let's think about it. We have cave systems that haven't even had humans even in them around the whole country and Canada and parts of Mexico. We have lava tubes that connect from one end of the coast to another end of the coast. We have lava tubes that connect from volcanic, mountain ranges to other volcanic mountain ranges and to lakes, rivers, and streams. We have missing people that have been reported up and down the entire area of the United States where there are water aquifers, mountain ranges, cave systems, lava tubes, underground streams and rivers, you name it, okay, including Alaska that I've talked about recently, okay, and including right where good old Fluffy himself, Eric Testerman, lives in Missouri with the Ogallala Aquifer, okay. We have missing people in areas that cryptid sightings have been seen numerous times. Okay. Are they connected? I don't know. That's why we're talking about it. And that's also another reason why I'm kind of wondering where this comes from. Now, this is the picture I tried to show you all the other night on the podcast of the deer that was in the tree, the buck. How are they getting up in the trees unless we've got a lion roaming around in the freaking woods everywhere we look? How are they getting up into the trees? Sasquatch, maybe? Or possibly Batsquatch? Who knows? I'm interested to see what everybody thinks. Eric, I'm going to bring you on, and I want you to tell me what you think about this whole situation with Batsquatch, and I'm just going to go through pictures while you talk.
Yeah, for me personally, I think it's most likely it's a misidentification. If it's not a misidentification, then I think it's probably something supernatural trying to take a shape to cause fear, or a combination of both. Personally, that's kind of have my feelings on it. Um, as far as the deer and trees, I think that if it ain't a lion doing it, it's probably either a dog man or a Bigfoot doing it. Um, that's just kind of
Yeah.
my views on it.
Well,
I know a bear.
when you
Go ahead.
take in consideration some missing people too, and tracks ending, and dogs not having any scent, then they're either taken from below or taken from above. It's only the two directions you can go because they're not going forward or backwards because the dogs would be able to track them. So something is taking people and wildlife and livestock to places that they normally wouldn't be able to go unless they actually traverse there themselves.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I can think of that would put a deer like that in a tree would be like a storm. A tornado, something like that. If it got a hold of a deer, would fling it in a tree. But outside of that, that's the only things I can come up with how that thing would get up in there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a misidentification. Like that one picture you showed of the Batsquatch that looks like Mothman. That is the most common photo used yeah, that one, to show Mothman. So if they're showing the same thing for the Batsquatch, and this is the most prominent photo of Mothman out there, then that kind of really confirms it with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. Yes, honey, I know. Sorry, Aurora's being needy again.
Well, that's all right.
Um,
We're all a little needy.
but
Uh,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, and like I always say, I could be 100% wrong, but from what I've gathered and what I've heard, that's where I'm at on it. I really don't think there is such a thing as a bat squatch. I really don't. I really think it's a misinterpretation. I really think it's Mothman. And
okay.
Mothman's been spotted all over the world. Honestly, I mean, let's be real here. There's uh, Europe has had sightings of Mothman. I think Spain has as well. And it's been spot. Mothman's been spotted. Ah, that's my feet. Mothman has been spotted all over the U.S. as well. So the possibility of them actually running into Mothman and somebody not knowing what Mothman is, I can see where the misidentification could come from on that.
Could they be misconstruing it with a mutated um, flying fox, maybe?
That is another good point because the flying foxes, that's memory serves me correctly, that is the largest bat species in the world. So if one got, if someone brought one here and it got loose, I could absolutely see in that being a misidentification because that's
I
something
mean,
we're not used to seeing here in the United States.
I'm just comparing it to basically like all the nuclear testing and stuff that we did during World War II, and
Hmm.
correlating that to possibly maybe it is a mutation of a species that is known, like the flying fox, that a few of them have survived over the last 70 some plus years and have been spotted periodically.
Uh, I mean, that's more along the lines of Godzilla, which biologically knowing that type of radiation on any type of life form, mammal based wise, doesn't cause that type of mutation. It's devastating to mammals. That type of radiation is. Um, but I'm not going to say that there ain't no slim possibility of something like that happening. To me, that's more of a sci-fi type deal. Makes for a good book, makes for a good story. But biologically, it makes absolutely zero sense. But I could be wrong. I mean, I
I agree.
absolutely 100% could be wrong.
No, I agree. It's just part of the elimination process that I
Mm-hmm.
use, as far as having all these questions and trying to seek the answers. I'm in agreement with you 100% on the misidentification thing. But what are we misidentifying? The description of it is exactly that of the Mothman. And I know from the
Mm-hmm.
video that I saw several years ago of the Mothman walking across this abandoned old iron bridge in West Virginia, that it literally looked like a black Bigfoot with wings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't see any red glowing eyes because it had its back to the video camera, and it was every bit of 8 feet, 9 feet tall, and it was built like a Bigfoot. It was built massive. So I do believe maybe it is Mothman that everybody's seeing. I really do.
Mm-hmm. You got a question here, William? Sorry,
You see
typing at the
that?
same time. William, what do you know of the Batsquatch sighting at the Mount St. Helens, also in the 80s?
Yeah, that is another thing too. Here's the thing with that. Okay, I think that and this is just my opinion. Okay, I think that was a forewarning to Mount St. Helens eruption. Okay, and if that was a forewarning to that eruption, um, when it was sighted the first time, like it was at the Silver Bridge, I believe it might have been Mothman that everybody's seeing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mouth. Hush. My gosh. That's why you're named Mouth. You don't know how to be quiet. Sorry, I've got several cats and a couple dogs in here with me today. I agree with you on that. I wholeheartedly agree. And, Urso's bringing up a good point with the cross genetics, gene splicing, and stuff like that. We know that the alphabet organizations have been doing that for a very long time. Even the most popular place called that starts with an N, that started as an ocean company that went to outer space. They dabble in that stuff as well. Um, could it be a genetically spliced creature that got loose or was set to as a test on people? That is a
Well,
possibility. Still quite a bit sci-fi for me, but definitely possible.
here's another kind of. I'm going to throw this out there too as a quote unquote. I use the air quotes a lot today. Trust me, because these are all just opinions and conversation we're all having. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Here's a thought too. In the 1980s, about that same time frame, from 84 to 88 to 89, there were sightings of what Californians called rebobs. They were called rebobs, and they were sighted in Napa Valley in a forested area that was off. Okay. Um, they were said to be in the trees of Napa Valley too, with red glowing eyes, by the way, and they were described as giant flying monkeys,
Mm-hmm.
and they were called rebobs. Maybe this is a genetic freak that was either genetically altered or created, aka by our great Nazi scientists, because they were brought here from Nazi Germany, and the whole science makeup
Mm-hmm.
of the United States is Nazi, as far as I'm concerned. Um,
Got it, guys.
maybe just maybe they got loose and are actively breeding on their own now.
Could be.
Let me
Sorry,
get
I
to
had to
the
get
chat.
on the animals. They ripped my headphone out of the socket.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the
Um,
chat here and see what everybody's saying.
mhm.
I got to get some. We're gonna,
Yeah, I mean,
if there's anybody that wants to come on and give their opinion on the whole situation with Batsquatch and how it could possibly be linked to the Mothman, please come on, give us your opinion. Okay, you don't have to have the camera on. This is what these shows are about: is for us to just get together and try to figure out or rationalize what we're seeing. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to come on, let me know in the comments so I can add you to the list. So we ain't getting piled up with people backstage, and I'll let you know when to come on. Um, but yeah, that Rebob, I forgot about them. I'm trying to remember when they Rebob was first brought to the attention of the people. I want to say it was probably 50s or 60s, but I could be wrong.
I think it was right after World War II.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's so that the whole concept. If we're taking a nuclear approach to it, that's the Godzilla effect is what we're talking about, folks. If you want a visual representation, it's the Godzilla effect. Godzilla was a lizard that was created into what he was due to nuclear explosions. There's also the theory of Godzilla being a Titan of old. So I mean, depends on what genre you want to go off of. It's a Godzilla effect. Um,
I
there
don't
is
believe it.
reptilians that's no, no, I don't either. There is reptilians that is known to be able to withstand that type of radiation. There's also aquatic animals known to handle that type of radiation. But when it comes to mammals, it doesn't exist.
Talking of reptilians,
Yeah,
I mean, think about
yeah,
it. I mean, they're a big part of our culture to be talked about nowadays. In the last 20 years, more especially, um, ancient race of beings that were here before humans, and also an ancient race of beings that came here from other worlds and other dimensions.
hmm
So, you have the Draco. They were the ones that came here from allegedly from another world. You know,
yeah,
so I mean, and it's said that that there are reptilians living amongst us. So, I mean, if there
yeah.
is that possibility that is happening, then what is the possibility that we are just totally misconstruing what Bat Squatch is? And that's where
Yeah.
I'm going with this. But here's the thing: is it a full time flesh and blood cryptid, or is it a supernatural, interdimensional type of a being because of its red glowing eyes? And I'm not saying just glowing, okay, like night shine. I'm talking
hmm
illuminated eyes, okay?
Yeah. Urso, you're right. Mammals can, once after a long period of time, they can get used to that type of radiation. And yes, we're bombarded with your radiation every single day, not at the level which would cause genetic modification. That's an extreme amount of radiation, and no mammal can handle that, regardless of time or not. We're just not set up for that. We're set up for a certain amount of radiation, and it's a very small, minute amount compared to what would have to go off to create a genetic modification. I mean, that is just sorry, that's just how it is.
Right.
Something about water with radiation, though, and this is why so much marine life can absorb high amounts of it. Water with radiation has a way of neutralizing it to a point where it's not as dangerous as in the open air. That is one of
Not
the
just
leading
water
theories
though.
why.
It's not
No.
it's not just water though, Eric. It is salt water specifically.
hmm And that is one of the leading theories to quit, like for space travel, is using water as a buffer for the radiation in space. Because space has large amounts of radiation within it.
Right.
But it absorbs it, it weakens it to the point where, in certain cases, it neutralizes the radiation. So that could be
That
why.
is
Uh,
the effects of Chernobyl, by the way, is rumor only and speculation. There is no proof whatsoever that worms are the size of snakes, that salmon are the size of whales.
It's all
I mean,
clickbait.
there's no sign of anything being bigger than what it normally would be. In Chernobyl, that's been proven, literally proven time and time again. So those reports are exaggerated at best.
Yeah. That's all clickbait, folks. I mean, let's I'm not going to sit here and try to tell somebody to make them feel good if it's a lie. If it's not true, facts are facts, and that's just simply not true. Even if a small, minute portion of that is true, that takes time to make that happen. It doesn't do it instantaneous.
Right. And the first
But
thing to
yes,
be
it's all.
the first thing to be affected
Go
by
ahead.
radiation alteration of the genetic species would be insects. And there's been no reports of insects being mutated in Russia.
Yeah, and wait. Two dog men are going at it at my feet again.
Oh God!
It's never ending.
Mini dog men,
Dude. I got 40 acres. 40 acres for them to do this, and they have to do it right under my feet.
That's funny. Oh, I don't care who you are.
Dad's
That's
talking
funny.
on the show. Yeah. Dad's talking on the show. Let's be noisy. Arr. The dogman fight is going on. What will win, the white one or the black one? Let's find out, folks, on today's episode of Attack of the Dogmen. That's true. I have salt and pepper dogs. One's white, one's black. Nine. Stopa. Boar. Quit being a pain in the butt. Quit agging things on.
I gotta quit laughing, guys. I'm losing my breath.
Quit agging it on. I said no. Sorry.
That's all right. Hold on, I gotta
is an insect. Yes, a worm is an insect, but that's just not going to happen. It really is not going to happen. That is all comic book, sci-fi stuff to grab people's attention.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I believe too, because there have been several hundred people, scientists and stuff, and investigators that have been to Chernobyl firsthand. They fished in the streams and in the lake there and the reservoir. They've studied the wildlife for months on end, and have found no proof whatsoever that any type of genetic altercation due to radiation poisoning occurred. So, and just because earthworms are going to things evolve gradually over time, folks. Okay. So earthworms may be 33% larger than what they were 50 years ago. Okay. So, I mean, things evolve. That's just the way of life. That's the way it is. You get somebody that lives around water all the time, they're going to be more susceptible to being able to adapt to a water life than a land-based life. That's just the way life happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so let me give you the down and dirty. There is something that has changed in Chernobyl. Something significant that they did not think was absolutely possible in our lifetime or the next 50 lifetimes of Earth. And that is the radiation levels there have depleted at a rapid rate, which gives a rise to the thought of radiation doesn't take as long to neutralize itself as what they thought originally. Um, there's already people moving back into Chernobyl and living there. Like you said, fishing and other stuff. The radiation levels there have dropped well within the safe range. There is still some hot spots there. Don't get me wrong. There is still parts of Chernobyl you can't go in because the radiation is still too hot. But it greatly diminished way beyond, way before they ever thought it could.
Right.
And you also got to figure one thing with the lack of human presence in the area. That means there's less competition. Which, let's face it, folks, humans are greedy folks, and we gorge ourselves on resources of the area. When you don't have that there anymore, things will have a tendency to grow more because there's more for them to eat. And that's something people forget to talk about when they talk about things getting bigger, is the fact there's not as much competition because humans are not there to deplenish the resources, which would allow for bigger growth.
Right. Right. I agree. You take in consideration too, with everything. This map here shows you in just the United States alone, the weirdness of the way our world is laid out. Okay, you've got the underground access to water. You have the underground caverns and cave systems in correlation with missing people. The top map and the bottom map literally overlay each other to where people are missing, where people that have been walking alone in national parks, all of a sudden their footprints stop and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have a problem with portals? Do we have a problem with flying cryptids? Do we have a problem with genetic experiments being done on humanity by nefarious shadow government organizations? I mean, not everything is going to be cryptid related occurrence when it comes to missing people or sightings. Okay. Like we said earlier, I think a lot of the problem nowadays is that there's a lot of misidentification going on. And we've got this situation where we've developed over time, just like I've said since the beginning, with all the different types and species of hairy hominids that have been reported around the world. There's literally thousands of names for them. Now, are we literally just slapping names on things to just do it and say that it's ours in our geographical region? Or are we scientifically labeling things what they should be labeled? That's my question to everybody.
Yeah. Bounty has a question, which I kind of put my thoughts in the comments already. So do you think Japan really dumped all the nuclear into the ocean? And do you think they really did that in New York River too? I think they, if I remember right, they proved that they did already, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did prove that.
Mm-hmm. Make some failures, but Mother Nature would eventually heal. Yeah, Corey, I agree. Now there's something else people forget, and I'm going to jump off a topic for a second, then back on. An area affected by high amounts of nuclear radiation has proven to flourish far beyond the vegetation-wise, far beyond what it was before. And that's because plants do survive off of radiation as well. So when you have that type of radiation in the atmosphere, once it gets down to a safe level, plants will grow significantly. So
Right.
yes, I agree with that, Corey. And as far, now I just brain farted and forgot what it was you asked. Um, now, what was it you asked? Now I forgot.
I don't know. You started spouting off about answering Corey. Um,
Misidentification. No, that was earlier.
yeah, that was earlier. It's no biggie.
Um, Urso wants to know what's been found in nuclear testing boundaries of New Mexico. Any animal mutations? I know they have found birth defects.
You know, the thing of it is, though, there have been mutated life on this planet for a while. Okay, not just birth defects in humans, but
Mm-hmm.
humans being having the ability to grow excessive amounts of facial hair to look like a wolf man. Images of children being born with a partial tail. There have been numerous accounts out there and photographic and video evidence of snakes with two heads. Okay. These are just natural evolutionary mutations that happen over time, because of certain genetic makeup, certain eggs that don't split when they're developed, and a snake grows two heads. Okay, so when we're dealing with the whole nuclear fallout thing and the mutation theory, I don't think it holds a whole lot of beans. And as far as being factual evidence, there's no giant mutated spiders in the deserts where the nuclear blast and the testing was done. The white sand in White Sands, New Mexico, have always been white. Okay, so you can't blame that on nuclear testing. There's and you can go on and on and on, and we can debate this all day long. Well, birth defects are going to happen. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
stress plays a big role in any pregnancy, and any woman can tell you that stress plays a big role, emotional stress, in the development of a child. Okay, so
Yeah.
well, Corey, that's been debated. Okay, um, there have been reports of giant spiders in the Congo in Africa. Okay, the size of 6 foot in diameter. In fact, I've posted pictures of it. I'll put another one up here. I'll look for it right now and post it up and show you what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
there is accounts of these things happening and occurring through evolutionary process, through changes, okay, in the developmental stages of the wildlife, okay, not due to radiation poisoning or radiation saturation, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that whole Godzilla theme has definitely played a big role in people's imagination process of being able to comprehend the difference between natural evolution and genetic, mutating over time, to basically, what we have with the Godzilla movies.
Yeah. See, okay, so one of my job titles in the Marines, I was the NBC guy for my platoon. And what that means, nuclear biological chemicals, NBC. I would go out ahead of my platoon and look for areas of high radiations to avoid. I would find a safe path to travel. And I would have to wear all these different gadgets and strips on my arms and over my body and all this other stuff. And if they start changing colors or emitting a sound, I would have to leave the area quickly and mark it as an unsafe zone. So when it comes to this nuclear, biological, chemical stuff, I kind of know a little bit about it because I had to do it. I mean, I was the guy that was the spearhead for the platoon, that way they can travel safely in an in an area, so they wouldn't be affected. This is how I know some of this stuff, and I've seen radiation sickness, and I've seen effects of people exposed to high radiation, what it's had on not only their bodies but their births afterwards too. So yes, this stuff can cause birth defects, but William's absolutely 100% correct too, and that does happen naturally as well.
Yeah, this is one of the pictures that I wanted to bring up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for some of the others currently too, showing and depicting genetic mutations and stuff. Here is one that I found fascinating too, and it's been reports of large alligators and crocodiles, in the world. And when you're talking genetic evolutionary mutation over time, you can't rule out a 20 some foot long crocodile. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something
So
prehistoric that's still surviving.
exactly, or the gene is still functioning within the species, causing mutations
Exactly.
like this to evolve. So it's just like us having the Neanderthal gene within us. So it's we can't just label everything radiation exposure
Correct.
and the Godzilla
Correct.
syndrome. Okay. And that's just my opinion. I mean, anybody's more than capable to disagree with me on that and my beliefs on that, but that's just my opinion. Okay. And there are natural evolutionary processes that happen in every environment, whether it's in the water, whether it's on land, whether it's in the air. Life will always find a way. Always.
Correct. What does life always do? And this is proven throughout history. What does life always do? Life adapts to the environment that it is in. Through time, adaptations occur, which allows a species to survive in that new type of environment. That is proven, archaeologically studied, proven that happens. So William is absolutely correct on that aspect. Is an old gene from a previous version of oneself is absolutely still in that body. It's still in that DNA code and can come to life. Absolutely.
Yep. Exactly. That's why every now and then you'll see somebody that is born that is of smaller stature than the rest of their family. That is why you have people that are born that are several feet taller than the rest of their family. Okay. The same with genetic species that are born hairless, and furless, to make them stand up, or even mutated genetic interbreeding species like the polar bear and the grizzly. You know, so life. One thing that is certain is that life will always find a way to renew itself, if that makes sense. Okay. And I'm a firm believer that we're so quick to slap labels on everything that we don't question everything enough. And that's why I constantly say question everything, because you have to look not only within the box, you got to look way outside the box and rationalize, well, does it have possibly a paranormal connection? Does it have possibly a flesh and blood connection? Does it have possibly a supernatural connection? Is it a genetically altered experiment? There are multiple avenues to look at when we process and try to evaluate things. And we need to continue that process and be more in depth with it in our research and our investigating. That's just my opinion. Okay.
You know, and something interesting that people really forget about when it comes to this irregular adaptation, you know, these birth defects as we call it nowadays. You know, things like autism, things like mutations. You know, a deformed figure, Down syndrome, a prime example. A lot of this happened prior to what I'm about to say, but became rampant after something was introduced and forced upon human people, and that's called vaccinations.
Right.
Vaccinations, if you study this type of stuff, pre-vaccination and post-vaccination, the numbers are astronomically larger post-vaccination via pre-vaccination. So that's chemically altered part of your body as well. And this is not I'm not being a doctor. I'm not doing this is my own opinion and my own theory, folks. Yeah, my own research. Um, but it's true. I mean, that is factual stuff that you can look up.
Yep. Yep. True. Very true. And I think a lot of our problem too is that we take things for granted that things can happen and naturally occur. Um, if things didn't naturally occur in our world, in our environment, then there would be no Bigfoot. There would be no Dog Man. There would be no,
Yeah.
Mothman. There would be no, 20 foot, 25 foot, alligators and crocodiles. There would be no 50-foot
Hmm.
snakes. Okay. If these things didn't naturally occur, then it'd be a pretty damn boring world. Okay. Um, I actually saw a two-headed snake at one time. They are
Hmm.
not as rare as what people think. They I mean, unless you're out there all the time in dealing with wildlife every moment of the day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And unless you're on property that is secluded and you interact with said wildlife all the time by being a part of it, you're not going to really notice it. Okay. Except through social media. Okay.
Hmm.
Everybody relies on social media nowadays. Okay. Yes, Joanne, two-headed turtles do exist also. The capabilities of anything mutating is I mean, for that matter, two-headed humans. How about the Chinese brothers? What was it, Yang
Hmm.
and Li, that were connected? Okay, and they both married
Yeah.
separate wives. They married different people, and they lived a very viable life up until the one brother died and had to get removed from the other brother's body.
Conjoined twins.
Um, yeah, it happens not because of
Hmm.
radiation, okay, because an evolutionary genetic trait somewhere down the line caused it to happen.
Think think about this. You're talking about conjoined twins. Read histories in all cultures about giants, and you'll be shocked on how many cultures report of multiple headed giants, conjoined twin giants, and stuff like that throughout history. The most well known is Norse, but in all actuality, it's all ancient cultures talk about giants. Sometimes they had multiple heads or multiple bodies on one. They were conjoined.
Right.
So is that genetic still within inside of us? Absolutely, because we know throughout historical studies that they mated with humans. So that type of gene would be passed down to humans if that
Right.
is the case. Is that
Right.
where we're getting it from? I believe it's possible.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Also, though, you do have to take in consideration, with dealing with a lot of the paranormal and the weirdness of the world. Um, you do have to take in consideration the whole genetic mutation through experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
We all know of the underground facilities around the United States and the world, for that matter, and Dulce just being one of them. We all heard the
Mm-hmm.
rumors and the interviews of certain prominent people that have been unalived, disclosing information about it. Um, you know, this is a part of the humanity of the society of humanity that is out of control. They are literally. I don't think this part of humanity has a brain cell within it combined to pull off that kind of a facility by themselves. I believe that they are being literally directed by other nefarious entities. Um, and I hate to say it, but I believe that they're being directed by a certain reptilian race that has been
Mm-hmm.
here a very long time. Okay. And I think that it goes even beyond that. I have found in my research and my studies on missing people, I have literally correlated that the majority, over 80% of all missing people, have dark hair and brown eyes. But that also 80% of missing people have also A positive blood. Okay.
Me?
They also have, and here's this thing too, they also have a genetic defect, making them a viable candidate to be processed through these experimental underground facilities to try and possibly bring forth that genetic mutation. Whether it's cancer, whether it's, Alzheimer's, whether it's, you know, dementia, some kind of a defect. Okay. Whether they're born with a tail, they have some kind of a defect. Some of them don't know it, but some of them do. That is another connection. So, is some of this possibly genetic studies? Yes, I believe it is. Are the people being abducted by aliens and all that when they go off by themselves? No, I don't believe they are. I believe they're being abducted by their own people. My opinion. Okay. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I got dark brown hair, blue eyes, and I'm A positive.
Yep, and you've probably had missing time some point in your life too.
Multiple times.
And there you
I'm
go.
also dyslexic.
And there you go. See? I'm telling you, folks, everything is connected. Everything that I research and I have found out over my 60 plus years is connected. Okay? Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One way or another, it's all connected. It's all being done for a purpose. What that purpose is, I'm not there yet, 100%. But believe me, as long as I have breath in my lungs and my thought process is still capable of working, I'm going to keep researching it. So,
What's interesting is not only am I dyslexic, but I'm hyperactive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Roxanne was giving me crap about that at the conference.
Oh, Roxanne, you're picking on a disabled person, meanie.
Yeah, she was picking on me because I was beep, 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 but that's just how I am. You know, I'm hyperactive, and days that I'm feeling good, feeling normal, I'm literally days that I'm down and not really. I'm real sluggish. Joanne. Uh, Speaking of which, Joanne, I need to get with you about that. I gave you that replacement book, but I'm going to replace the other one as well and give you the correct cover of that book. So I need to get with you again. Yeah, I did.
Was that with the chompers in or the chompers out?
Yeah, no kidding. They stayed in. I give her credit. They didn't come out going, ah, cha, 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 cha. Nope, they stayed in. Hey, Josh. Well, no, take that back. They did come out once, but that's when she was talking to Miss Annette. But while talking to me, they didn't come out going ah cha 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 cha. I mean, they stayed pretty calm. Did I ever show you that picture I created for Roxanne?
No, you didn't. Oh God, are you gonna get me in trouble?
Nope, I showed it already. Um, let's see. I'll work on it while we're still talking. I actually created a picture for Roxanne. It is great.
All
I'm
right,
so gonna
so
put this on a T-shirt for her.
uh-oh. She says, "Yui were a perfect gentleman."
I was. Thank you. Sounds
Oh.
good, Joanne. I'm trying to get the picture to load up, and then I'll bring it up. If my computer will do what I want it to do. I was a perfect gentleman. I usually am, unless somebody upsets me. Now, if somebody upsets me, then that's a different story. Then the bad Eric comes out. All right. This is the photo I created for Miss Roxanne. Black belt chomper munchers. And chomper monster jujitsu.
Hold on a second. I got a problem with. How in the heck do I get rid of that?
What's that?
Spam in the chat.
Oh. Yeah, it won't let you get rid of that. I get that every now and then too from Twitch.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of Twitch. That'll take care of that. Damn it. That'll take care of that.
So, yep, this is what I created for her. So I'm going to get that put on a shirt for her. She has officially got a black belt in Chomper Monster Jiu-Jitsu.
That's terrible.
Ah, that's great. No, I can't help it, man. I love Roxanne to death, man. She is definitely a huge help for me on my shows. I am very thankful for her. So, and I like how we can banter back and forth with each other. She's like a sister to me.
I see Carl's in the
Thank
chat
you,
up to his Olympics.
Carl. you, Roxanne. Oops.
All right. So, where are we with the whole Batsquatch thing?
Misidentification for me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I agree. How about the rest of the chat? Misidentification or possible genetic mutation, possible experiment genetic mutation by nefarious three-letter agencies? What do you think?
Possible. I can't rule that out. Bounty says misidentification. Corey says hard to say. Wizard says misidentifying Mothman.
Yeah, I'm under that same belief right now. I really am. Now, here's the next question, though, everybody. Do we take it to the point where is the Mothman, or whatever you want to call him, Batsquatch, a misidentified flesh and blood cryptid, or is it a supernatural interdimensional cryptid?
Bro, that's a good question. Because some of the reports report seeing red eyes, and some reports report not having red glowing eyes. I think one is supernatural and one is flesh and blood. Which one's the true one? I would say most likely the flesh and blood. The red one is probably a supernatural being that is took in that shape to cause fear. But I could be completely wrong. But if you go off the reports, that sounds about how it is. I think some of them are flesh and blood. The other ones is a supernatural entity taking that shape. Or completely misidentified.
Well, I mean, we talked last night about the angel thing, the angelic thing, okay, and how angels, have been reported as to coming down from the stars as constellations and changing into giants, okay, and asking humanity for things. And if humanity doesn't give them things, they do nefarious things to them or their village, more specifically in South America, in the Yucatan area. So, is it the fact that just maybe there is that possibility that when Mothman materializes, or Batsquatch, whatever you want to call him, materializes in the flesh and blood form, that he's doing it like the angels do it when they come down to test humanity?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's a loaded question, I know.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I'm going to have to say no, but I can't also disapprove it, if that makes sense. I would definitely have to leave it on the shelf as a possibility. I definitely can't 100% say no, that's not true. That's just not where my mind is right now. You're asking the hard ones today, bro.
Well, I'm just questioning everything, guys.
Heck yeah. I've never really thought of it on that side of it.
Just what I'm thinking. This is just how my mind operates, guys. Sorry. Every now and then it gets a little bit off kilter, but this is just how
That's a good thing to think about.
It's just how I process things. I try to put it through every theory I can think of. before
Yeah.
I bring up my results on what I've investigated and researched.
Well,
I do it with
and I do the
everything.
same thing
You know,
too.
I do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do it when I'm out Bigfoot hunting. I do it when I'm out ghost hunting. I do it out when I'm,
Mm-hmm.
doing supernatural things. We won't get into that. But it's just a process that I do. And, I wouldn't be able to make that statement at the end of the podcast when I tell everybody to question everything if I didn't do it myself.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing is that, for me, anytime I do an investigation, I'm not there to prove that that thing is there. I'm there to disprove it. And if I can't disprove it, that to me adds credence to this actually being a legitimate type deal. Um, I mean, there's some things you just can't fake. I mean, you really cannot fake it. And that is when you get take for instance, you get a little boy's voice on a recording while you're setting up saying, "What are you doing?" You can't debunk that, especially when there's two people there and we're both over 40 years old. Kind of hard to go.
Yeah,
Well,
David,
was that
yeah,
one?
I want to, David. Yeah, David will have to put up his question here, or his statement here, about the Chinook helicopters. They're probably flying to my place, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
that'd be the coup de grace for me here, man.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
special forces storm the pad here.
Well, there's been a very large, so the last 6 or 8 months, there's been a very large gathering of aircraft along the coastal um, borders of the United States. Very large increase of gathering. Um, what they're gathering there for, I don't know. I just know there is. I've been keeping an eye on the air traffic control stuff, and they seem to keep growing and growing and growing, and it's always on the coastal borders of the United States.
That's because
It's interesting.
there is a big event going to take place, folks. And I
Mm-hmm.
predict that it's going to take place within the next 6 months. And we're talking, it's probably going to be leading to massive casualties. And I would say if you're anywhere near the coastline around the entire United States, make sure you have a plan to get away from at least 100 miles away from the coastline of the United States, within minutes. Okay. And have a bug out bag prepared too, because something is coming. Okay. And it ain't going to be pleasant. Okay.
Michelle, that's all coastal borders. That is Pacific, Atlantic, Gulf of America, all coastal borders of the United States are building up. Oops, crap! I shouldn't have put that up. Uh, um, yeah, or so I can. That is possible. Yeah. Yes, Roxanne, that as well. That
Well,
as
and
well.
remember
But
too,
there's more to it than that.
the USS Gerald Ford fleet just went down to the Caribbean, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I agree with William. There's an event going to happen. This is something that I've talked about the last 6 years, 8+ years, which, if you follow the signs of what's going on, is leading right up to what I've been talking about for the last, like I said, 6+ years. It's something that's going to be, once it's done, Hey, Michelle. It's going to be great for humanity, but there's always a storm before a rebirth. We'll just leave it at that. I'm trying to be very, because I've said too many things and I don't want to get William's show in trouble.
All right.
I've said too many controversial stuff today. Attention, YouTube fact checkers. This is the opinion of E.D. Testerman and not William Nighthawk's High Strangeness podcast. Please do not ding his show for my opinions, my theories, and my hypothesis. If you don't like it, what I have to say, I'm sorry, but that I am a natural-born American citizen, and I am able to give my own opinion. Thank you.
I am a sovereign entity.
That's what I was trying to think of. Sovereign entity. I am a sovereign human. I am not lost British naval commodity. I am a sovereign, free human being.
Which is a whole nother podcast, by the way, on Rumble.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, they have Roxanne. Yeah, they fly out of Whiteman. Well, they used to. I think they've moved, actually. I do believe they have moved. They used to fly out of Whiteman Air Force Base all the time.
I've never seen an aircraft carrier fly overhead. That must be a big thing to see. Those suckers are huge. They're like the football field in length.
Yes, yeah. I knew what you was talking. That wasn't me this time, Roxanne. Don't get your chomper munchers after me. I agree with you. I didn't dissect it like somebody did. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't resist on that one.
Oh man.
Have to be.
Well, tomorrow
that one up.
I want to bring up tomorrow. I've got a couple videos I need to complete tomorrow, so I won't be doing a Sunday supernatural show. We pretty much did one last night anyways, so I mean that's okay. And then I'll be bringing that format from last night back to Sunday mornings. So that'll be the format that we'll use. That'll be the new intro and all that. And it'll still be supernatural Sunday morning, supernatural Sunday. But we're just going to kick it up a little bit. We're going to talk about everything supernatural on Sunday mornings. But this Sunday, tomorrow morning, I won't be on at 11 a.m. Like I said, I've got a couple videos I've got to get completed. And I've also got to get ready. I'm supposed to be doing a couple different podcasts too. I can't remember if I have one tomorrow at 8:00 in the PM. Paranormal Japan. Or if it's, I know Monday I have one at 8:00 in the evening Eastern time. With my buddy Jay, and it'll be aired. I think the following day it'll be aired. But we're going to talk about literally everything cryptid that you can think of. So, and then some. So, I've got a pretty busy next couple days scheduled. So I'm just not going to have time to do the Sunday morning podcast. So that being said, Eric, you want to go ahead and tell them what you got going on today and tomorrow?
Yeah. So tonight will be Campfire Chats with Eric and guests, and that's at 5:00 Central Standard Time. And this is Campfire Chats is a safe place for you to come and share your encounters. If you want to come on live, we'll bring you on live. If you just want to talk about it in chat, then that is good as well. And tomorrow, I'm waiting on a reply back from an individual to see if he wants to do a show with me or not. This is an individual who's been on a couple different shows on TV dealing with Bigfoot. So if he is able to come on live, which we've talked about, he wants to come on live with me sometime, then I'm going to bring him on. If not, I'll come up with a different topic. So that's what I got going on. I will be, if everything works out right, I will be releasing a new monsters or military versus monsters episode today. And it is the RAF. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's an Air Force base over in England, werewolf encounter. Albany werewolf encounter. Yes, you, Roxanne, you do. So I've just done some work on it this morning, got the last of my notes, got everything compiled up and made, so I'm ready to start implementing and creating the video. So that if everything works out right, that will be released today. Outside of that, that's pretty much what I got going on.
Okay. Well, everybody, next Friday night will be the regular Into the Red Rabbit Hole podcast. Getting back to basics on that. And then, of course, Saturday morning again and Sunday morning. We're going to have the Paranormal Coffee Talk Saturday morning and then the Supernatural Sunday on Sunday morning. And I'm going to, like I said, try to get the second part of the Missing People released. And I'm also going to do a survival video and probably a third video that's going to be coming out. So roughly 20 minutes to 30-minute long videos. So, watch for those sometime within the next week to be released. One of them will be on the members only site. The other two will go, to the public and then probably be put on the members only site after that. That being said, as with everything, guys, question everything thoroughly. Give everything your best investigative skills. Don't think everything is going to be in a neat package when you investigate things, because it never is. Okay. And think way outside the box. Okay. Think way outside the box. So that being said, I will see everybody later on Eric's show. I'll be in the chat, and we'll go from there. Question everything, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Have a great tomorrow, and look for those videos, okay?
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
And thank you for being here, and thank you to all the mods, too. I appreciate each and every one of you is in the chat. You guys are a phenomenal family.
Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate. In fields of valor, we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the tree. take the night with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. Unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.